Hi everyone, my name is Steph. This is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk through some of my channel survey results that people were filling in for me. So thank you to everyone who did complete that. And I'm going to be talking through some of the things that came out of it and also some of my plans for my channel moving forward in 2024. All right, so here we have my channel survey results, and I will not be sharing anyone's name or personal information in this video, so don't worry if you filled it in. I'm not going through the individual responses, just more the group stuff. So one of the things that I always ask is which videos do you enjoy watching? So there's a whole list of things that you can vote from. Books Beside My Bed is by far and away the thing that everyone watches the most, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful for that you guys enjoyed that video. But some of these other ones are really interesting. So like, I know I need to do more recommendation videos, but the problem is because I talk about everything in the Books Beside My Bed video, I feel like I get very repetitive, because usually if I read a book, then I start thinking about other books that are similar, and I don't want to post that as a recommendation video so close to reading it, and it just becomes this cycle. But I will try and get better at doing this recommendation video. Things like subscription boxes, I mean, some people love them, some people don't like them. I mean, they are what they are. I'll try and, like, if I have any of those, I'll try and include them in vlogs or something like that so that people still get to see them. I do like that people are enjoying the Bookish Friends Choose My TBR. That will be coming back next year. Book tags. So this one I find interesting. I actually don't watch book tags. I left it in here because it is content that's out there, and every now and then I might do one, but I don't actually enjoy watching them myself. I mean, TBRs are always really popular. The themed reading vlogs, that surprised me that it was sort of so close in responses. People still like watching book hauls. I can't remember the last time I filmed just a book haul on its own. It's usually in a vlog or something like that. So that's where I will tend to put mine. The book haul revisited videos is really interesting because I used to film these all the time, and I have not done one in a very, very, very long time. And I know they're sort of regaining popularity again, but it's good to know that they're still popular, because I'm doing something with that-ish next year. It's not going to be a regular reoccurring thing, but there is something along the lines of a book haul revisited thing happening. Book journaling and planning videos still pretty popular considering the other results. Things like live shows, these ones I know are very specific to specific groups of people, and not everyone enjoys watching them. All I can say there is they will continue to happen when I have something to do a live show on, like the Ilona Andrews read-alongs or whatever. And I know that not everyone is going to join in with those. Live shows tend to be, I think, a little bit more niche than video content, but maybe that's just my personal opinion. I don't know. And the other, I probably didn't phrase that question properly, but anyway, that's fine. So this one I was really interested in, what other kinds of videos would you like to see on my channel? So author backlist recommendations was one in there. I'll talk about that in a little while. I'm glad that someone has noticed that I do sort of have symbols and things to denote books in my description. This is particularly useful if I have so many books that I can't go through and do links. But I have been trying to do that because I want people to be able to find things at a glance. So I'm glad that that's useful. This shopping your shelves is also a really interesting concept. And I kind of do that all the time. I just don't call it that. But I think what this person is saying is actually seeing me physically go through my thing and go, oh yeah, I feel like reading this. Oh yeah, I feel like reading that. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes, because it's not quite how I choose books in that particular way. Like, I shop my shelves, but I usually do it thematically. I don't know. Maybe we can do something like that. The 24-hour readathon, swapping screen time for reading time. I love these ideas and I have included them. I will talk about that in a little bit as well, about where I'm going to include those. The Aussie Bookshop recommendations, I do actually want to do one. Well, I did the walking tour of Melbourne. So I do have like the physical stores that I've been to, like I've shown those in videos. I can probably do a talking video about them though. But then there are the online indie romance stores that I also look at. So maybe that's a thing. Fair enough about the live shows, discussions and thoughts about books, community trends. We'll see how that goes. Like, to be honest, I try and stay out of the community drama just because it does my head in, and I don't know, maybe as an approaching elder millennial, I just don't have the time for it. But if something major comes up, I'll talk about it. Trends, I can probably do something with, but I don't always tend to follow trends ignoring the giant hockey romance trip that I've been on this year. I don't know. I don't feel like I tend to follow that many trends, but maybe you're wrong. You can tell me in the comments if I do follow trends. Discussion videos. Here's the thing with discussion videos. One, I'm very self-conscious and I'm not always able to get my words out in discussion videos. But what kind of discussion videos? Because I discuss books in my Books Beside My Bed videos all the time. So like, what do you want that's different from that? I don't know. That to me, that's what I need to know is what do you want the discussions to be about? Okay, good. Trope Rex, Australian author Rex. I will continue to do Australian author recommendations because I've got a ton of them that I've got to read. So you'll see more of those definitely. Okay, so are there specific themes, ideas that you'd like to see me exploring vlogs? If you like this book, you'll probably like this one. I do have some ideas for that for next year. I have done one before and I am hoping to do at least a couple more, and I've got some theme ideas for them. There will always be more queer content because of course there will be. So so queer, LGBTQIA or demisexuality, Indigenous authors. Cool. That is easy to do because I'm always on the lookout for those books. Book recommendations by your favorite authors. That's interesting. I do have an idea for how to use that for helping me pick my TBRs. Okay. And then being a bit more specific to individuals' favorite videos to watch were Books Beside My Bed videos, the resets, the journal and planner videos. That's good to know. Recommendations, resets, wrap-ups. I don't film a lot of individual wrap-ups because they're either my Books Beside My Bed wrap-ups, which is a weekly wrap-up, or like wrapping up in a vlog. I really don't feel the need to do end of month wrap-ups as such. If that's what you're referring to, I'm not sure. You might have to let me know in the comments. But I feel like that would be overkill because if I did that, I would have to completely change the format and I wouldn't be able to do Books Beside My Bed videos. But that's okay because these are just the things that people enjoy watching. Thank you, newer subscriber. I'm very glad that you're here. What else have we got? Updating the reading journal, wrap-ups, readathons, swapping the screen time for reading. This is so funny because the majority of my screen time is not as much as people would probably think, unless I'm doing a heavy editing filming day. I definitely spend more time reading than I do on my screens per week. But I will be doing some videos and vlogs around that sort of stuff. Monthly wrap-ups and recommendations, hauls and TBRs. Those will all get thrown into various other videos. Views and recommendations, annotation videos. Have more of those planned. What else? Book reviews. See, this is what I mean. Like some people really like the Ilona Andrews read-alongs. Other people don't watch them because that's not their jam. Totally fine. Wrap-ups, recommendations. TBR games. I like TBR games, but I can only play them for short periods of time and then I get bored. It's the mood reader chaos in me that rebels against playing them all the time. But later in this video, when I talk about how I'm going to be setting up my monthly reset videos and how I pick my TBR next month, I think I found a way to combat me getting burnout from doing the same thing over and over again. Favorite books, specific book recommendations. See, for me to give specific book recommendations, I need people to tell me what they want specific book recommendations for. And then the problem with that is if I have read something that fits that specific book recommendation. The life of a book reviewer. But that's okay. We can work around that. I should say, this is not me being negative about anything. Sometimes it takes me a while to process how to actually incorporate these things or incorporate them into my process so that it makes sense for me. Because I actually really like this feedback because this is good information to know. Planning lives. I really like the planning lives as well. We haven't been able to do many recently, and that's just purely because of timing. So hopefully we will be able to get back into some of those next year. Wrap-ups and hauls, theme vlogs. There will be some more theme vlogs next year. I've already got some ideas. This one I found really interesting. This was the ideal video length, which is 10 to 15 minutes, which is fine. I try and fit that. Usually I'm 20 minutes and under. So that mostly fits into that category. And then the second largest category was sort of 15 plus minutes. And then this one, this is just purely out of interest for me, is do you speed up my videos when watching? And basically, with the exception of two people who didn't even know that that was an option, it's a 50-50 split between yes and no. Full confession, I speed up every video that I watch on YouTube because I don't have time. Like I wouldn't have time to watch all of my friends' videos and all of the other content that I want to watch if I didn't. And for anyone who's wondering, can I even take in that information at that speed? I absolutely can because I've listened to audiobooks on faster than 2 times speed and can still retain the information. For me, I even did a training video the other day where I sped everything up to 2 times speed because it was just taking too long. Most people myself not included in that because I am aware that I speak very quickly if I don't actively stop myself from speaking very quickly. Most people speak quite slowly. And I speed everything up. So the next two questions, which were which days of the week do you prefer to watch videos and preferred viewing times? These ones are not necessarily going to impact my uploading schedule because mostly I use my analytics to determine when things get uploaded. This was more just to get a general sense of when people are actually watching content, because I do notice sometimes videos will go up and they'll get the views, but then I'll get the comments later because the comments tend to come from people who regularly comment on my channel. So I'm curious to see if there's a trend between the views and the comments. And also I didn't specify in this one which time zone anyone was in. So this being Friday, this could be Friday in the US or it could be Friday in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's 2 different days. So we take it with a grain of salt. But yes, Tuesdays and Fridays seem to be popular. I do upload on Fridays. All right. And then this was just more for purely my interest. And thank you to everyone who did put in their time zones in here, because it does make it easier for me to then have a look and see if there's correlation. I do like this idea of saving them for a specific purpose. That's great. And I think now also not only do time zones affect viewing times, like I only watch videos at nighttime, and I usually watch them between the time that I get home and the time I finish dinner, because after that I start reading. So for me, it's usually a viewing time between 5 and 7:30 p.m. And I do that because I'm sitting down and I'm eating. Any other feedback or suggestions? Seeing old books incorporated in recommending. This is entirely dependent on whether, well, first of all, you have to determine what is considered old. I have recently been reminded that basically everything that I think is still part of my history is now very old, and that is very disturbing to me. But also, if we're talking about anything sort of pre-2010 now, particularly if I'm thinking romance books, I'm really wary of the content pre-2010. And even later than that, I can be a little bit wary about the content. So I have to be very particular, because in order for me to read and enjoy those books, I just have to mentally prepare for the fact that there's probably going to be content in there that I don't agree with, or that is now dated in a way that requires a lot of content warning for other people. So I will be reading some books that are much older than that. I've got a couple of plans for things like rereading series that I read years and years ago, but we'll see. We'll see how I go with that. I will try. Thank you very much. There are some really lovely comments in here. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I've dropped off. Like, I'm interested in how people pick their TBRs. I'm not necessarily always interested in watching the full thing to see people talk about what they think the books are going to be about, but I'm interested in seeing how people come about choosing books. So I totally get that comment. Oh, thank you. Like I said, there are some really nice comments in here, and it was really nice going through some of this feedback and just knowing that people are enjoying what the content is. And then the last section that I'm going to go through is if people want to recommend me books. And some of these I will add to potentially future TBRs. Others I will talk about perhaps why not. So a lot of these ones I haven't heard of. I tried NDNF Kiss My Cupcake by Helena Hunting, but that was very early in my reading romance journey. So maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. That may not be a not ever, but a maybe. Haven't heard of any of these. I did try the Tiger Saga by Kulin, and I did find the first book problematic, so that's why I never continued it. C.S. Pacat, I have Dark Hair. Dark Hair? Yes, Dark Hair. It's behind me to read at some point. I do like this. I really do like this idea of Brain likes to make weird reader-like suggestions. Bring it on, is what I say. Okay, since I like the rest of the story, am I like Alpha by Audrey Faye? Hey, look, anything with shifters, it doesn't have to, like, the thing is with reader likes is that they don't have to be the same genre or the same trope or the same, like, it doesn't have to be a direct correlation, which is why I like this weird reader like suggestion idea, because sometimes it's just the feeling of the book or the feeling that the book gives you. But yes, I like that idea. I will have to look that one up. I know I should read the Elsie Winters book that I own. I am aware of that. It's okay. That will happen eventually at some point. Immortals After Dark, I have tried. I think I've got 4 books in. I might come back to it at some point. That's not a never ever. It's just it's on pause for now. October Day. Now, I'm pretty sure I've read the first book in the October Day series. and that is one I will need to come back to. And the Fae's Captive series by Liacha. I may have the first book in that series. We'll have to see. I'll have to go through and have a look at everything. So that's my channel survey, and we are going to cut to me talking about next year's content ideas. Okay, so now that we've talked through some of those results and I've sort of answered some of the things that have come up, I also want to talk a little bit about some of the other content that I'm hoping to put out in 2024. And I'm kind of excited because I've already been involved in a couple of brainstorming sessions with people, and I've got tons and tons of ideas. You guys would have seen in my planner video that there's a lot of ideas going on in my head at the moment. But there are a few things that I would like to try and start as, you know, bi-monthly or quarterly regular content, including more deep dives into author backlists and or specific videos on authors. So I have done one on Lillian Lark's books, and that was really fun because I'd read so many of her books. And while I don't believe that you have to have read absolutely everything in an author's catalogue to be able to talk about them and give like a backlist recommendation video, I like to do that. And there are a number of authors that I have almost read entire back catalogues of. So people who are on my list: Nalini Singh, Ilona Andrews, Evie Mitchell, Lana Paherchek. Like, I would love to sort of I would love to have videos on those authors and talking about their various series and books and where you could start with them if you're interested. I'm also looking at some timed vlogs, like how much can you read in 24 hours, or how much can you read in a day? Or Shay and Izzy have done books where it's like swapping your work hours for reading, and how much could you actually read in a work day if it was your job. I'm interested in doing those because I know I read a lot and people don't necessarily always understand how I get through as many books as I do. I also have holidays coming up, so I can actually spend some time doing that kind of content. So I'm interested in playing around with some of those. My biggest thing that I am going to do, and this falls into my reset category, so the monthly resets are staying. I love doing them. One way that I wanted to change up how I do the resets every month is changing the ways that I pick my TBR, because so many people had suggestions and have talked to me before about, you know, how I pick my books. And the reality is, a lot of the time it's just mood reading. It's whatever I feel like, or if there's sort of a theme for a month or whatever, I might pick it that way. But what I'm going to have, and I will have a separate video showing all of the categories that are going to go into this method of madness, but I'm going to have a jar that basically has themes for how to pick my TBR. And there are going to be some months where I'm going to be helping host various things. So my TBR selection in those months will be determined by those challenges. But otherwise, I'm going to have a jar of prompts to help me pick things out of my TBR. And it could be using a random number generator. It could be, you know, picking books that I acquired in 2022 or 2023 that I didn't get to and have been meaning to. Could even be things like scrolling Instagram or TikTok or whatever until I find books that I own that I can read. So there's going to be a whole lot of different prompts. I think at last count I had nearly 20 different ideas, and each month I'm just going to pull one, and that's going to help me determine how I pick the majority of my TBR. I'm also hoping to bring back and do a few more Bookish Friends Choose My TBR next year. It won't be every month, but I am hoping to continue that and ask a few new people to pick some books for me and push me out of my comfort zone a little bit. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm headed next year. The Books Beside My Bed video is going to stay the same because by far and away that is the most popular video content on my channel. So thank you very much to everyone who tunes into those every week. And yeah, everything else, I'm going to try play around with some things. I will still have my digital book journal, my regular journaling stuff, probably a few more little peeks into how I set up my everyday planners and things like that. But that's not going to be weekly content. That'll be thrown in where I can fit it in the schedule, or maybe as bonus video content. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Everything else, I'm excited to sort of dive into some of the ideas from brainstorming sessions and see what I can make work and what might be new or different for my channel. I mean, I'm not going to change my personality and become a skit channel. That's not me. But where I can try some new things, I will, and hopefully you guys will give me feedback on that. So yes, in the comments, feel free to let me know if there's anything that you thought should have been included in the channel survey results. If you didn't get a chance to fill in the survey, but you would like to give some feedback or make some suggestions, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Otherwise, feel free to leave a computer emoji down below. I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.